With a name like that, how can you not at least be interested? I mean, you did click on the video, so... The Manson Brothers' Midnight Zombie Massacre is brought to us by director Max Martini and stars Chris Margettis, Mike Carey, David B. Meadows, Randy Coulter, D.B. Sweeney, and a whole bunch of other motherfuckers you've seen before. So upon hearing about this movie, my impressions were that it was just gonna be another low-budget, run-of-the-mill zombie flick that we get about once a week now. And yeah, it is a lower-budgeted zombie flick with a pretty cool name. But what else it is fucking awesome. Holy shit, this movie was so much fun. The basic premise is that the Manson brothers, played by Chris Margettis and Mike Carey, are an aging team of low-level wrestlers. They fight on some like lower wrestling circuit or something. WWE, this is not. They were the most hated team of their time. They play like bad guys in that whole wrestling drama thing. And now, 30-something years later, they're kinda over the hill. They're playing like these dive bars and like this real low circuit, but I mean, you know, they're living their best life, I guess. When given an opportunity to have a Halloween night mega tag team rematch of like a big fight they had once, they jump at the chance because it's gonna pay out well and you know, they're kinda needing money. Unbeknownst to them, a new steroid that a lot of the guys at this place that they wrestle at have been taking somehow turns people into zombies. And this all comes to a head on the night of their big fight, Halloween. And lunacy ensues as the Manson brothers have to protect themselves, their friends, and their loved ones from the zombie horde. Now, one of the key things about this movie, and one of the things that really surprised me, was its really witty, sharp dialogue. The story here's not that deep. What I said a second ago, that's pretty much what it is. There's not a whole lot of story, but the dialogue and the interactions between all of these characters is great. This is some really smart, funny writing, and I found myself laughing throughout this entire film. And it's not just like one or two characters, it's all the characters. Every single character here has really great dialogue. The situations within this story that our characters find themselves in and the commentary they give on what the hell's going down is some of the best parts of the movie. That and the over-the-top crazy gore, man, it looks great. This is some really bloody, gory shit. And while a good portion of it is kind of played for laughs, because this is ultimately a comedy, the way that it's presented is very serious. These effects and these zombies, if you will, could show up in a serious zombie movie and very much be taken serious. The zombies themselves aren't goofy, with the exception of one in particular that's pretty funny as hell, but beyond that, the zombies themselves are very serious. They're just in kind of off-kilter, goofy situations. Hell, the situations for the most part aren't even really that goofy, it's just the commentary from our characters. These really colorful characters sitting here just experiencing this crazy shit going down, and how they react to it. It's great fun. There's blood and guts all over the place, and it all looks fantastic. This is some grade A special effects, and given the small budget they had and the fact that I'd never really heard of this movie, I was really surprised. They never overextend themselves and have effects that look like shit. Everything here looks great, and a lot of it seems to be practical. I'm sure there was some CGI mixed in there somewhere, but the vast majority of this is all practical. The movie as a whole, not just the effects, just looks great. This is not a cheap looking movie. It was made for a small amount of money, but man, they really put that money to work. They knew what they were doing when they made this flick. Now, while the movie is really fun and entertaining, has some great gore, and just overall looks fantastic, what really sold it, like I said a moment ago, was the characters, and what sold those characters was the fantastic performances. These aren't like Oscar-winning performances or anything, but that's not what they were going for. This is a comedy, and these performances are funny as hell. Our leads, played by Chris Margettis and Mike Carey as the Manson brothers, are great. Everything from Margettis' Stone Manson's sarcastic smartass attitude to Carey Skull Manson's lovable buffoon who keeps using words wrong is expertly and hilariously done. The banter between these two is the best part of the movie. I could have watched these two go back and forth all day. But as I said, they weren't the only ones. All the characters, and hence the performers for those characters, all have a lot to do here. They all have very interesting, funny as hell, quirky characteristics unto themselves. And while everybody was pretty great, the standout would probably have to be David B. Meadows as like a Chris Evans Simmons kind of looking high roller wrestler that comes in for the night. This guy is so full of himself to hilarious levels. You love to hate him. And Meadows, along with everyone else in the cast, seems to be having a great time playing in this quirky little funny as hell movie. These are some of the most fun performances I've seen all year. I can't really see much about this movie that I don't think people would have a great time with. If I had to pick something, I guess maybe I would say that the zombie action doesn't really kick off until about after the halfway point of the movie. Like, the whole first half of the movie is just all these characters kind of going back and forth and developing the story and their characters. And character development's great, and it is great here, but I know a lot of the times people come to over-the-top gory zombie flicks to see just that, and the fact that the first half of the movie doesn't have a whole lot of that, some people might be disappointed, but I think they'll be thoroughly entertained in what they get in place of that. Not to mention that in the second half of the movie, they're gonna get plenty of that. I don't really see this as a negative, but when looking at what other people might see, I guess some might. But really, I think this entire movie was just really great. It was a super fun time. Guys, there's just not much more I can say about the Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre. It was fucking awesome. What else do you need me to say there? It's great, go see it. It has a simple yet really funny and entertaining story with some fantastically hilarious performances, and some of the situations that pop off in this movie are just great. It looks great overall, and the practical effects and all the crazy amounts of gore that you get, especially in the second half of the movie, will please gore hounds through and through. I had an awesome time with this movie, and it is absolutely worth a buy.
Do it! Do it!
Show me the money!
Do it!
You motherfucker!
So,
Show me the money!
do it.
This was probably the most surprising movie I've come across this year. I was not expecting this thing to be a quarter as entertaining as it was. But it's a surprise that I wholly embrace. This movie was awesome. Absolutely go check it out as soon as possible. So there it is, guys, my review of the Manson Brothers Midnight Zombie Massacre. Such a badass name, too. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below and become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits to go along with that, like these guys. And possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Greg. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, New Mexico. Another thing about this movie that was really cool was that it sets up a sequel. Hell, it doesn't even set up a sequel so much as it kind of sets up a franchise. I'm not gonna ruin how it does it or what that sequel could be because it is pretty cool looking, but it is just fucking awesome. Can we please get a Manson Brothers franchise? That would be fucking amazing. Please support this movie so we can get the sequel that they propose at the end of this movie, because it's just, wow. It just makes so much sense, though I never saw it coming. I should have seen it coming, but I just didn't, and when they show what it would be, it makes all the sense in the world. You ever come across something that just seems right and you should have known it all along? That is the sequel that they propose here. Mwah, perfection. And big ass titties.